This is a story, a fantastically true story, from the files of Herbert A. Philbrick, who for 9 frightening years did lead 3 lives. Citizen, communist, counter-spy. For various reasons, the names, dates, and places have been changed, but the story is based on fact. This week, Herbert Philbrick brings you the story of the counter-spy who faced a threat of betrayal from within his own family. Oh, yes. How are you tonight?
I've got to see you immediately on business. Big business. Do you understand? I don't care what you're doing. And her. Bring Eva.
Bring Eva? Oh, I can't do that. You see, my mother-in-law's visiting us. We can't both leave the house.
These are orders from upstairs. Are they supposed to wait because your mother-in-law's around? I don't care what you tell her. Just get here.
Oh, wait. You don't understand. I can't just walk on. All right. We'll be there. Oh, darling, I'm sorry this has to happen on your mom's first night with us, but, well, that was the boss. He wonders if we could come over for a few minutes.
Me too, Herb?
Yeah. One of our big clients came into town unexpectedly. His wife's in Europe, and he wants you to help him plan a party.
Isn't this a little unusual, Herb?
Yeah, but in the advertising business, you get used to the unusual.
You go ahead. One of the main reasons I like visiting here is so I can take care of the children. Oh, thanks, Mom. Eva told me you were on call at all hours. I suppose you have to leave her alone a great deal.
Yes, Mom. More than I like to. Maybe it won't always be this way, though.
We'll be home soon. I'm sure the kids won't wake up. I'll handle them, even if they do. You two just have a good time.
Thanks, Mom. Good night.
Night.
Comrade Philbrick, you're to catch the midnight train for Davistown. You'll arrive there in the morning. Walk down Main Street till you get to a lumber yard. Go in. You'll make your contact there.
Contact with whom?
You'll find out when you get there. But believe me, it's important. Comrade Eva, I also have a job for you.
Now, wait a minute. You know Eva can't accept party assignments. One of us has to stay home and look after the family.
You just worry about the party. The party will worry about your family.
What do you want me to do, Comrade?
These 3 party members must attend a meeting tomorrow evening. I have no way of contacting them. After you take your husband to the station, you're to visit each one with a message.
Herb told you my mother's visiting us.
I'm sorry, but you're the only one available. Our superiors entrusted me with a mission, and I intend to carry it through.
Well, I know, but it seems to me you could use a little discretion.
It's your responsibility to carry out routine party assignments regardless of personal consideration.
This wasn't a personal consideration. It was a consideration of party security.
Maintaining security in your own home is your job, not the party's. You just have time to catch your train. You better go.
You get the tickets, darling. I want to call Jerry Dressler.
Herb, you can't call the FBI.
No, it's all right. He gave me a special number where I could reach him. Is this Van Buren 79014?
That's right, Herb. I've been stuck in this phone booth for hours on a surveillance. You're going to Davistown, eh? Well, we've had several leads on party activity in that area, but we haven't been able to trace them. How long will you be gone?
I expect to be back on the afternoon train. Oh, and another thing. Eva's got a job, too. She's supposed to contact some people for a special meeting. Yeah, Dave Gall, Al Block, and Steve Endicott.
They've been involved in several espionage investigations. If your trip and that meeting tomorrow are connected, you're on to something big. I'll try to see you tomorrow, Herb. Outside the terminal. Right.
Daddy! Daddy!
Sweetheart, what's the matter?
I want Dad. Where's Daddy?
It's all right, darling. You've been dreaming.
Dreaming, Grandma?
Sure, that's all. Now everything's fine. Just fine.
Then it wasn't true. But where is Dad?
He and Mommy had to go out for a few hours. They'll be home soon.
But that was my dream. I dreamed Daddy was going away with the men, and that he was never coming back. Never. I was calling him and running after him, but he didn't pay any attention. It was terrible.
What do you mean, Connie?
He's always having to go away somewhere and having to stay late at night. I know it makes Mommy feel terrible, too.
It's his job, Connie. So he can earn a living.
Oh, no. It's not his job. Because once I heard him talking to Mommy, and he said that being away so much might make him lose his job.
You better get some sleep, darling. We'll talk about it more in the morning.
All right, Grandma. Grandma,
Yes, dear?
will you please put that little light on the desk? Just till I fall asleep.
Of course, darling. Where did you get this, Connie?
The book? In the cellar. Just for fun, I emptied one of those barrels of things we keep down there. And I found it.
Whose book is it?
Dad's. I'm going to use it as a weight for pasting in my scrapbook.
You sure it's Daddy's?
I'm pretty sure. Why? Is something the matter?
No, nothing, Connie. Nothing at all. Good night, Connie.
Mom, you still up?
I couldn't go to sleep.
But it's almost 3 o'clock.
I know. Where's Herb?
He couldn't come back. He had to go out of town to meet this client.
And where have you been?
There were some other ladies at Herb's bosses. We were just talking. Is there anything wrong, Mother?
I don't know. Is there anything you'd like to tell me, Eva?
Tell you about what?
About where Herb is? About what you were doing tonight?
There's nothing to tell. I was gossiping and Herb's away on business.
I see, Eva. I see.
Philbrick, isn't it?
That's right. And who are you?
I don't know if my name will mean anything. Kirk. Earl Kirk.
Comrade Kirk. Well, it's an honor to meet you.
Not many people have the chance.
This lumber yard, is it yours?
Another comrade's. I'm using it as a temporary headquarters. My headquarters are always temporary.
I see. And what's my mission?
Let's go over here where we can have a little more privacy. Philbrick, I'm entrusting you with some highly important information. Information which could not be put through the mails. This evening, the steamer Matorki from Romania docks. Aboard will be 3 agents under aliases on a vital mission. In this sealed envelope are the names, aliases, and passwords to be used in recognizing these agents.
I see.
The agents will make contact with certain of our comrades, Dave Gall, Al Block, Steve Endicott. They should be notified of a meeting to be held before the ship docks.
Oh, my wife, that's Comrade Eva, notified them last night of the meeting.
Good. This is to be opened at the meeting, and under no circumstances before.
I understand.
Make sure you do. The meeting will take place late tomorrow afternoon at your house.
Oh, it can't. We have a guest. My mother-in-law is staying with us. It wouldn't be safe.
Get rid of her.
That's impossible.
Nonsense. Do it.
Look, I already had an argument with Comrade Wanda about my mother-in-law. If she gets suspicious, it'll endanger party security. I refuse to have a meeting in my house as long as she's there.
Did you say refuse?
Yes, for the good of the party.
Very well. Go on home. Remain there until Wanda contacts you with a new place for the meeting.
Please understand, Comrade Kirk, that the only thing I'm thinking of is party security.
Naturally. Just make certain you follow my other instructions. That's all. Follow Philbrick. Keep an eye on him. I didn't like his attitude.
Onto something big, all right, just as Dressler said. You've just got time to make that morning train back to town. Dressler said he'd meet you outside the terminal, and there he is. You've got to make sure he gets the information in your pocket before the commies do. Uh-oh. You've seen him before, at the lumber yard. You should have known the commies would have a tail on you. You've got to break contact. If Dressler talks to you now, you're dead. You remember the signal, Philbrick? Tie your shoe. Tie your shoe. It's up to Dressler now. Good old Dressler. Hi, Mom.
I wanted to talk to you before you came inside, Herb.
Sure. What about?
In all the years I've known you, I've always felt that we liked and trusted each other.
Mom, we still do.
I talked to Connie both last night and today, Herb. She says you're away from home a great deal, that you get late-night telephone calls, and then leave the house at all hours. The other children say the same thing. And then the way you disappeared last night, it all seems so strange. What is it, Herb?
Have you talked to Eva about this?
Eva won't tell me anything. I hope you will. I found this in Connie's room. She says it's yours.
Where did Connie get this?
She found it in the cellar. It's a Bible of communism. How did you come to have it?
It's just a reference book, Mom.
I looked through it, Herb. It's a regular communist manual.
Well, I use it in connection with some work I'm doing, Mom.
What kind of work?
My job.
Was it the same kind of job as what you did today?
What do you mean?
Your boss called up this morning. He needed some information. I answered the phone. He said you were away on personal business.
I was.
Then why did Eva lie to me? What's going on, Herb?
What are you thinking, Mom?
That we have never talked about politics, about communism.
And you're thinking that I'm a communist?
With what I've seen and heard, I don't know what to think. I really don't.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, sweetheart.
For you, Herb.
I'll see you in a minute, darling. Thank you. Hello?
Sorry we couldn't get together for business. Is there anything I should know right away?
Oh, brother, there sure is.
All right. Bring your layout on cars. And Herb, maybe you better take a taxi getting down here. There could be a lot of traffic at this hour.
I understand. I'm sorry, sweetie. I've got to go out again.
Do you have to go, Dad?
Yeah. I'll tell you why later. I better call a cab. Who'd you see? Kirk. Earl Kirk. It was espionage, all right. They've got some agents coming off the steamer Matorki tonight.
Who?
It's all in here. That's to be presented at a meeting just before the steamer docks. I didn't try to open it.
Well, they've probably got it marked 5 different ways to make sure that you didn't.
Yeah. How are you going to handle it?
Well, we'll have the lab pinpoint the markings before we open it. If we do it right, we'll get away with it. But we'd better do it right for your sake.
Better do it fast, too. I can be contacted for that meeting at any time.
We'll do our best, Herb. You better take a walk. I'll try to be back here within the hour.
Right. Oh, and Jerry, there's one other thing.
What's that?
I'm worried about my mother-in-law. Well, you better get going with that dynamite. Mom can wait. I hope.
I'd like to see Mr. Philbrick, please.
I'm sorry he isn't home.
Why, that's impossible.
I repeat, Mr. Philbrick's not at home. Who are you, miss?
A friend of his. A business friend. Do you know where I can find him?
I don't have the slightest idea.
Let me speak to Eva.
Eva, just how are you acquainted with Mr. Philbrick?
We do a lot of work together.
Hello, Wanda.
Where's Herb?
I'm not sure. I think he said he was going to the office.
He was supposed to be here.
I'm sorry. He isn't.
Very well. Just tell him I came for him.
Eva, either you and Herb are going to explain all this to me satisfactorily, or I'm going to find someone who will.
Yes. Burl, I checked his office and he wasn't there. I have no way of locating him. You deliberately violated your instructions to stay home and wait for my contact. I'm worried about the operation. You've got to come.
But I've got other commitments. All right, I can just catch the plane. I'll be there in a couple of hours.
We'll have those 3 agents spotted the minute they get off the boat, if the commies don't change their plans.
Or if they don't suspect something's fishy.
We found several places where Burl Kirk had marked the envelope. I hope we found them all.
So do I.
What is this about your mother-in-law? She thinks you're a commie?
Yeah, she thinks Eva's one, too, I'm afraid. It's got Eva real upset. You know, Mom hates commies so much that I wouldn't put it past her to expose us. It sure finished me with the party.
And with us. What have you told her so far?
Nothing she believes. Jerry, I think Mom could be trusted with the truth.
No, Herb. That would put you in continuous danger. And it would hang a sword over the Bureau's head, too. We'd never know where we stood.
Yeah. It's sure tough having her look at us as though we were a couple of gangsters.
We know your job is a lonely one and a tough one. But we don't want to see you get killed doing it.
Mom's pretty good at keeping things to herself.
Pretty good. Herb, how would you like to face Burl Kirk? For instance, if your mother-in-law were to slip someplace along the line and he found out you were working with the FBI.
And how long has Comrade Philbrick been here?
An hour and a half, ever since I knew I was wanted.
I see. I hope you realize that by disobeying orders and forcing me to fly up here, you disrupted vital party work in another area.
Well, in that case, I'd say your action was very unjustified.
Was it? You have in your possession a vitally important document.
Of course. This isn't the first time that I've handled important documents for the party.
But this time you violated instructions. You were told to stay home. There was a comrade watching you to make sure you did. And yet you took a cab, deliberately evading surveillance.
Why didn't you tell me I was being tailed? I could have made it easier for everybody.
The important thing is, why did you go out at all?
Tell me one thing. How long was I tailed?
From the time you left this morning. I didn't like your attitude.
You mean my attitude about my mother-in-law?
Exactly.
And I'm glad you did have me tailed, because I'm sure your man must have told you how she questioned me, how we had an argument in front of the house. I'm sure Comrade Wanda has told you about her attitude, too.
Well,
I got out of that house because I had to get away from her insistent questioning. This woman can be very dangerous to the party. I made a decision on party security, and I followed it through.
Everything he says is true.
You'd have done the same thing, comrade.
Let me have that envelope I gave you. A little trick I learned a long time ago. Sprinkling talcum powder inside secret communications.
Wait a minute. Dressler didn't mention anything about powder. Did the FBI slip up on you?
I owe you an apology.
You don't owe me anything, comrade. I know how important party security is.
What do you intend to do about your mother-in-law?
Convince her I'm not a communist.
How?
I don't know yet, but I'll do it.
Well, you had better. Her suspicions endanger the party. That's all, comrade. Good night.
Good night.
Everything all right?
Yeah, I think so. How's Mom?
I don't know. She hasn't said much. She's in the living room.
Come on with me. Hi, Mom.
Hello, Herb.
What are you reading?
The Bible. It helps me when I've got big decisions to make.
Maybe I could help you, too, if you'd let me.
You and Eva. Neither of you have been able to tell me anything that would make me feel better.
Mom, I'm not a communist. Neither is Eva. We both hate communism more than anything in the world.
But the things I've seen...
Oh, Mom, aren't you forgetting a lot of other things? The way you brought Eva up, for instance. Could she be a communist? And the way we've brought our children up, could they be communists? Do you really think that?
I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't feel comfortable here anymore.
Mom.
I'm sorry. I had to say that. Good night.
Oh, Herb.
Thank you, O Lord. And please, God, watch over my mother and my father, and watch over all our people, and our president and our country. And please, God, help us to stay at peace forever and ever. And if I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Amen.
That's a beautiful prayer, Connie.
Grandma!
Who taught it to you?
Dad did. Dad wants us all to pray every night. He says it's very important.
And your sisters, do they pray the same way, too?
Sure. Dad taught them all, just like me. Even the babies.
Aren't they too young to understand?
Maybe they are. But Dad says prayers get to heaven anyway. I know they do.
I'm sure they do. Good night, child.
Good night, Grandma.
Did you hear?
Yes, Mom.
I've decided something, Herb. I'm going to be like my grandchildren. With only a little understanding, but a lot of faith.
Those he loved. A counter-spy was able to continue his part in the battle against communism. Next week, we'll bring you another story from the files of Herbert A. Philbrick. The kind of story that could only be told by a man who for 9 fantastic years served as a counter-spy for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This is a story, a fantastically true story, from the files of Herbert A. Philbrick, who for 9 frightening years did lead 3 lives: citizen, communist, counter-spy, and who has now revealed for the first time his secret files concerning not only his own activities, but also the current activities of other counter-espionage agents. For obvious reasons, the names, dates, and places have been changed, but the story is based on fact. This week, Herbert A. Philbrick brings you the story of